Hi, welcome to Yoga with Lynn and Leo. This is day 18 of 19 days of yoga. So you may be familiar with Adho Svanasana, dog head down, if you've been following our series. Lynn in the white top is starting in a prone position, doing the classic versions of the poses. Leo in the coloured top is doing the modified actions, starting on hands and knees. So come up into your Adho Svanasana, dog head down. Have the hands shoulder width apart, the feet hip width apart. Now we're extending through the side waists with this action. So press into the palms of the hands, extend through the outer armpits up to the groins. Extend the buttock bones towards the ceiling. Bend the knees and either step or jump the feet. As you can see, Lynn has jumped the feet together. Leo has stepped the feet so that they're just a bit wider than hip width. You can keep the hands to the floor underneath the shoulders. For those with tighter hamstrings, use the bricks to take the hands down onto, or the seat of a chair. Or place the hands either side of the feet, as Lynn is showing, extending the body down the fronts of the legs. Keep the legs lifting strongly, the sitting bones lifting towards the ceiling. Coming out of the action and stepping or jumping the feet back into Adho Svanasana. Lynn, doing the classic versions, was jumping the feet back there. So with this action, again, get the extension through the side waists, through the side flank, through the outer armpit region, and extend the roots of the thighs away from you, opening out in the backs of the thighs, extending the heels away from you. So we're going to come down into Adho Mukha Virasana now. Toes together, heels apart, sit back on your heels and extend the body forwards, resting the head down. If the buttocks lift, you can place something there between your bottom and your heels. If the head doesn't reach the floor, then put a couple of foam pads there. Coming out of the pose now and sitting in Dandasana, staff or stick pose. You can see Leo here is sitting on a couple of foam pads. Lynn is sitting to the floor. Lynn is in the white top. Roll your shoulders back and down, extend into the inner heels, and really get that lift and extension through the spine. Press the fingertips down into the floor to keep the opening in the chest. Press down with the heel bones. Draw your toes towards you and extend through the inner heels. Keep the facial features soft and quiet. We're coming into Marichyasana 3 now, so draw up the right leg. We're going to turn to the right, so extend the left arm up by the left ear. Take a brick behind you if you're working with support underneath the buttocks, like Leo is showing. So we're going to hook that left elbow over the outside of the right knee to get the rotation to the right. This can be a challenging action for many people, so if you're having problems with this, you can lean back a little bit and straighten the arm to get that rotation. But also coming up onto a height helps to give you access in this pose. So keep the rotation, keep pressing into that outer thigh, but resist that and press down into the foot evenly. Spread the palm of the hand, releasing, coming back into Dandasana. And now we're going to go to the other side. So lift the left leg up, interlock the fingers at the head of the shin, and lift your chest. Take your left hand round to the floor or to your brick behind. Get the lift and extension through the front of the body, through the side waists. And you can always angle that knee, that thigh a little to the center of the body in order to hook the elbow over. But once you've done that, then bring the shin back into a vertical position to get the rotational action in the spine. Breathe, fine inhalation, fine exhalation through the nostrils, pressing firmly down into your bent leg foot, your left foot, and not forgetting to keep that right leg strong and straight. Open out in the palm of the right hand, have the fingertips facing towards the ceiling. Lift up through the spine, use the hands, use the elbow to increase the rotation in the spine. So as you exhale, soften the ribs and rotate a little more. Release down. Come back into Dandasana. Roll the shoulders back and down. Lift through the chest. We're now coming into a version of Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. If, like Leo, you're working with props, you'll need a foam pad underneath the knee and a brick for your hand. So we're kneeling and taking the right foot ahead of us. Leo has her toes tucked under. It gives a little bit of extra balance in this pose. Stretch your left arm up and hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. You can see that Leo is taking her hand round to hold on to the outside of the left hip. This has two actions. It stops that hip from dropping, but it also increases the rotation in the spine. As we lift up, be careful to keep your square on that front leg, so don't lift the sitting bones away from the floor as you come up. Take your left arm up, rotate it in the joint and stretch it over your ear. Extend into the back leg strongly. Don't let that back leg knee dip towards the floor. Release the arm. Take that back leg knee down to the floor or to your foam pad. Release the hands to the floor and bring the right leg back and just sit back on the heels for a moment. Recover your breathing pattern. Letting the body steady and settle. Strong action. So give yourself a little time between sides. Now take your left leg forwards. So taking the left leg forwards, lift your chest, get the opening action in the chest, the length in both the side waists. Stretch up with your right arm, and you're going to hook that over your left knee and thigh. So you can see the similarities here to Marichyasana 3. Take the hand either to the floor, as shown by Lynn, or to the brick, as Leo is showing. You can see Leo is just lifting up and rotating a little more with that space created from the groin. Now straighten your back leg without lifting the sitting bones away from the floor and disrupting that square, the right angle on the front leg. Keep the chest back, keep the head back. Take your top arm up, rotate it in the socket and stretch it over the ear without letting the elbow bend. So we're extending strongly through that side flank. Keep the facial features quiet and soft. Releasing the arm down, letting the knee come to the floor or to the pad, and coming back again into a kneeling position. Chest lifted. Sitting back onto the heels. We're coming now into Adho Mukha Virasana. So if you had a foam pad underneath your knees, make sure that that's out of the way now. Take the toes together, the heels apart, sit back on the heels and extend the sides of the waist as you stretch the arms forwards. Leo is just showing here that sometimes people are unable to take the buttocks back to the heels or to get the head to the floor. If either or both of these occurs, then take a foam pad or a bolster between your bottom and your heels and take a foam pad or two underneath the head so that both ends of the spine are supported to assist the quietness in this pose. You need to rest down after those energetic twists. Keep the buttocks moving back, the elbows lifting off the floor. Coming up out of the pose, sit in Dandasana, staff or stick pose, stretching the legs out in front of you, using support if you need it. Lift through the chest, roll the shoulders back and down. So we're going to come into the next action now, which is Halasana and Sarvangasana, shoulder balance and Plow Pose. So have your support, your platform, set that up. If you're using a chair, as Leo is showing, then take a chair behind you. If you need more than the foam pad as your launch pad, then take a bolster or extra support on top of the foam pad to help you up. So Leo is going to press the hands down by the hips to roll into Halasana. You can see here that Lynn's taking the hands underneath the sacrum to give it a little bit of extra lift as she goes. Then take the hands into the back. So we're pressing down into the elbows, placing the hands into the back. Lynn is going to come up with two legs, which means you've got to really activate in the abdomen to get that lift to extend up. If that's difficult at this stage, then take up one leg at a time. You can use the chair, as Leo is showing with here, for Halasana Plow Pose. Coming into Sarvangasana, pressing the hands into the backs of the ribs to move those in. We're going to come into a Virasana action with the legs. So dip the heels towards the buttocks, move the sacrum in strongly and the thighs back. So keeping the thighs back, keeping that balance in the pose, just straighten the lower legs. So hopefully your thighs will have come a little bit further back with that action. We're coming out of the poses now, so either two legs in one go, as Lynn is showing, or one leg at a time, as you can see Leo is doing. Rolling down carefully and just resting down after your inversions. Just give the body a moment to steady and settle with the legs bent. Let the abdomen be soft, the lower back broad. Taking the foam pad out now from behind the head, roll to the right. We're coming into our next action now. If you're working with supports, take either a bolster or some folded blankets or full foam pads to the wall. We're coming into Baddha Konasana now, bound angle pose, sometimes known as Cobblers Pose or Butterfly Pose. So extend into the inner heels. You can see that Leo is sitting on a height with her back right to the wall, so the sacrum has to move in towards the wall. Lynn is bringing the heels towards her, sitting in the center of her mat. Bring the soles of the feet together, the knees apart, and extend from the inner groins to the inner knees. Bring the heels as close to your body as they will come. Now, if you're sitting up onto a height, you bring your heels as close to your support as it will come, and place your hands behind you onto your support to get the opening and extension in the groins. You can see that Lynn is hooking the fingers and the thumb around the big toes and lifting the chest. If you're sitting on a height and your hips are a little stiffer at this point, then it's better to work with the hands behind the hips or by the sides of the hips so that you can start to get the elongation and the opening in the groins without compromising the lift in the chest. If you work with the hands holding the feet and the hips are a little bit stiff at this stage, you'll find that the spine tends to buckle forwards. And we want to keep the chest nice and open in this pose. So using whatever supports you've chosen, it takes a little while to sit in this pose to get the openings in this action. Be patient, practice this every day if it's a difficult pose for you. So releasing out of the pose and stretching the legs forwards into Dandasana. Keep the lift through the chest. We're going to come now for Savasana. You can see that Lynn is rolling the shoulders under, turning the palms to face the ceiling. Leo is using the bolster underneath the knees. So scrape the heels away from you with the arms slightly away from the body and let the feet broaden, release and fall out to the side. If you need a blanket for underneath your head and neck, then please do take that. You need to be completely comfortable in this pose, Savasana, corpse pose. Release the legs. Soften the abdomen. Relax in your throat. Relax at the base of the jaw and allow the facial features to be quiet. Take any tension away from around the eye region and let the gaze of the eyes move inwards. Observe the breathing pattern and allow the body to completely relax. We're coming out of the poses now, so bend your knees carefully, roll to your right side. Rest on your right side for a moment. Bring yourselves into a seated position. So keep the quietness in this action as you come to sit in Sukhasana, simple cross legs. Thank you for joining us for day 18 of 19 days of yoga. Namaste.